Hello, everyone. I'm Sean,
This is whom?
and we are the Courageour Frights back again for a movie review, this time for The Matrix Resurrections.
Yeah.
Retread, regurgitate,
Yeah, or whatever other
rehash, whatever they say.
rehash, yeah.
They literally say that in this movie.
They pretty much say that because it's
They
like
make fun of the title.
how many times do they just basically show the other movies
Oh, God.
in
Yeah.
between actually showing the scenes of the movie?
Like, at least 10% of the entire runtime is just clips from the first three movies.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like basically a rehash, or maybe even like I don't even know. It's like a redux. I guess
Redux,
what
yeah.
a redux.
Could have called it that. Yeah, yeah, it's just a lot of retreading of the original movies, especially the first one,
Yeah.
and a lot of that's intention. It even starts like the very first scene of the movie is just a reenactment of the first scene of the first Matrix.
Yeah, with doesn't it have like I forgot what was it with Morpheus? Wasn't it with Morpheus and he was
No,
like
it's
giving the
it was Trinity. Remember the first scene of the
Oh
Matrix
yeah, because
is
they're looking through like the other like the new main characters, I guess. They're looking
yeah,
through and they're like
yeah, they're
they're,
basically watching the Matrix happen, except for it's not Trinity. It's like knockoff Trinity,
yeah, knockoff Trinity, pretty much.
discount Trinity.
And it goes into finding Morpheus. That's what it was.
Yes, yeah, they find discount Morpheus,
Yeah.
who's also Agent Smith somehow,
Yeah.
because he's saying Agent Smith's lines. Because he said, like, I said that one line before he even said it,
Yeah.
because it was the no, your men are already dead. Like that
Yeah.
line, it's like exactly the lines from the original movie, except for it's Morpheus saying it, except for it's not Morpheus because Lawrence Fishburne didn't come back for this, shockingly.
It's other discount
Discount Morpheus. It's played by Yahya Abdul Mateen II or something. I think he was the guy who was Black Manta in Aquaman.
Oh, was it? I didn't. That's why he looked familiar, and I was like,
Yeah,
that guy looks familiar.
he's a good actor, just not in this.
Yeah, it's like he needs to be in like his own character, not Lawrence Fishburne's character.
I don't know why they just didn't get Lawrence Fishburne to come back, because I think in an interview he said that they never contacted him for about this.
Probably forgot.
And it makes me wonder if they ever even bothered. I don't think Hugo Weaving would have wanted to do it, but I wonder if they didn't even bother with him.
They probably didn't, because Hugo Weaving's probably one of those actors. I don't think he would do something like that.
No, he wouldn't even come back to the Marvel universe to play Red Skull.
Yeah.
They had to recast him for Endgame. So, yeah, I don't think he'd come back for this either.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure he's like one of those actors that are like, I've done the movie, I'm not doing it again.
Right.
Except maybe like Lord of the Rings or something.
Yeah.
But that was like a new movie. It wasn't like a rehash movie.
Right. Yeah, The Hobbit at least was actually new stories. It wasn't just the Lord of the Rings, the greatest hits.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, this is just the greatest hits of the Matrix interspersed with like new footage interspersed between it.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like mostly stock footage.
It's like watching the remake, like the rehashed episode of like a TV show.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It's one of those episodes that is filler because they needed more time to do a scene or something for some other episode. So they threw together an episode that was just a compilation of greatest hits or something.
The old episodes.
Yeah. Like that's basically what this is. So anyway, it starts with a reenactment of the first scene in The Matrix where Trinity gets like the security guards find Trinity and she like runs up the wall and kicks the guy or whatever. That scene that was redone in a million movies. It's like Shrek and everything else where it like freeze frames on her in midair and spins the camera around and she kicks the guard or whatever.
Yeah.
They do that scene, except for now the new character, Bugs, who is named after Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that.
Yeah.
So anyway, Bugs Bunny's watching this happen, and then Trinity gets caught, which didn't happen in the actual Matrix. So they know something's different is happening. And it's basically a trap for Bugs and whoever the other guy was that was with her. But
Yeah,
one of
hacker
the
man.
yeah, hacker man, one of the other agents, he's Morpheus and Smith Agent Smithius.
Yeah.
So he like tackles Bugs and takes her into a different room, and that room turns out to be Neo's apartment from the first movie, because we're just showing
Yeah.
random things from the first movie. And it's revealed that he's Morpheus, but for some reason he needs to take the red pill in order to get out of the Matrix, but he already knows that the Matrix isn't real, and he's a
Yeah.
program.
Yeah.
He's not even a person, because he's in the real world later in the movie, but he's in the real world as like crazy nanobots. He looks like
it's like Terminator 5 or whatever.
right. He looks like
movie.
the one Terminator movie that John Connor's a Terminator for some reason.
Yeah.
It looked like that. And so, but for some reason, he also needs a red pill, even though he's not a person. Then they go into the next scene. They show the real world. They show Neo or Keanu, and he's working in a big like computer video game developer company.
Yeah.
Which is called like Deus Machina or something. Which is basically
Blizzard Entertainment.
Blizzard Studios. Yeah, it's Blizzard Entertainment. And Agent Smith, who's also, there's an Agent Smith, but for some reason Morpheus was Agent Smith at the beginning. But now there's also an Agent Smith, and they keep cutting back to Hugo Weaving footage just to remind you that this is Agent Smith, because he doesn't look like him. He doesn't act like him. He keeps calling Neo Tom for some reason.
Yes.
Instead of Mr. Anderson. Now he's just Tom. So Neo's like sees a bug in the Matrix, which is probably what we just saw. And I like how Keanu's dialogue in this is very much like the original film, where only thing he ever says is "What?
Yeah.
Huh?
What?
Huh?" It's like his whole dialogue through the whole movie. And then what happens after that? Oh, Jude. Jude shows up. Who's that? His coworker who's like super annoying.
Yeah.
It takes him to a coffee
shop or something, and he's like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna talk to this lady," because he's like, "I see her all the time," or whatever.
Oh yeah, Tiffany, who's actually Trinity, but she's like been plugged back into the Matrix, and now she thinks she's Tiffany, and is played by Carrie-Anne Moss again. So we did get some of the original cast, but literally just Carrie-Anne Moss and Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
And Jada Pinkett Smith later on is like a hilarious old person makeup and stuff. But
yeah.
But anyway, they're at the coffee shop, and Jude like gets them to talk to each other by being super obnoxious.
Yes.
And also, I gotta point out the dialogue in this movie at times is atrocious. Like, he's talking about how the game changed his life. First time I played the game, I was shook.
Yeah.
And his boss later on, like Smith or whatever's looking out the window, and he's like, I mean, OMG, this is amazing. Like, who actually talks like that? Like,
yeah, it's like they were trying to like add like
internet lingo into daily speech.
Gen Z lingo here.
Yeah, it's like Generation Z, but I've never heard anybody in actual Generation Z people go around saying OMG.
That was an absolute unit of dialogue.
Yeah. And speaking of hilarious memes, which this whole movie's a meme, Chad Stahelski shows up, the director of the John Wick movies. And in this, he's playing Tiffany or Trinity's husband, who's just Chad. So it's like he's the Chad.
He's the Chad, the Giga Chad.
The Giga Chad. The Virgin Neo versus the Giga Chad.
Yes.
So Chad Stahelski as Chad, which I thought was funny. That was a nice touch. And he was Keanu Reeves' stunt double in the original Matrix movies. That's how they met each other. So
okay. So that actually was kind of okay. So they actually did something with that.
But I can almost guarantee I know how he ended up in this. So like Keanu probably was doing stuff like preliminary stuff for John Wick 4, and he had to go on set for reshoots or something. And he probably told Chad that he had to go on the set to do reshoots for The Matrix before it got released or something. And he's like, "You want to come along with me?" And he just did. And they wrote him into the movie.
It probably did. Most
Because
likely.
that's probably all stuff from the reshoots.
Yeah.
Chad just went with Keanu for the day or something, and they filmed all his scenes with Trinity. But yeah, I did think that was funny. I do actually enjoy the meta stuff that was in some of it. Some of it's over the top and stupid, but some of it I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Especially the conversation they have after this, where so anyway, Neo and Trinity talk to each other, but they don't know each other, but they have this connection. Like they feel like they know each other. It's like that.
Yeah, there's like, do I know you? Basically,
Right.
Trinity says that, or Tiffany at the point.
Yeah.
Time.
And then and we find out that Neo is kind of being kept in the Matrix. He has like daily blue pills and stuff. And
yeah, because he keeps seeing things. I guess he's like seeing like himself in the mirror, and it looks different and everything else.
Yeah, so they're like trying to keep him under. He has a therapist who turns out to be the analyst who's actually controlling the Matrix or whatever.
Yeah,
but he is Neo's therapist, and he's always telling him that it's all in his mind or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, this is reality or something.
Yeah, and we have this long drawn out compilation scene where it's just like a bunch of boardroom meetings and stuff about the Matrix. And so like we said, Neo's a game developer at Blizzard Entertainment.
Yeah,
and he created the Matrix, so everybody believes that the first 3 movies was actually a video game.
Yeah,
using Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah, using Unreal Engine 5.
And
pretty much
apparently a game that you couldn't distinguish from reality, but it was designed in like 1999.
Yeah. It's all them polygon graphics.
So yeah, it must have been,
it was Matrix Online.
Matrix Online. It must have been like, what was that, an FMV game or something?
Yeah, one of those FMV games.
It's like plumbers don't wear ties.
Yeah, plumbers don't wear ties. It's like, that was how you couldn't distinguish it from reality.
It's like the cutscene
FMV
from the original Resident Evil game.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, some reason people can distinguish a PS1 game from reality.
Yes.
But we have a whole bunch of boardroom meetings, and this is where the meta stuff gets hilarious. And there's a lot of theories about what's being said here online. But they name drop Warner Brothers a couple times in this sequence, where they say that Warner Brothers, their parent company, basically came to them and said that they're making another Matrix movie, whether you're involved or not. So you might as well be involved.
Yeah.
And they literally say that in the movie.
Yeah.
And there's a big theory out there that that's actually a conversation that really happened between Warner Brothers executives and the Wachowskis.
It probably is.
Because they basically went up to Lana and their sister Lily, something like that. But anyway, they went up to them and said that we're going to make the Matrix. This is the 20th year of the Matrix. We're going to make this with or without you. So you might as well be on board with it. And one of the sisters didn't do it, because this is only made by one of them. And it shows. Probably the one that didn't do it's probably the one that had all the originality.
Probably.
And they got Keanu back and Carrie Ann Moss back. But I thought it was hilarious that there's an actual scene in the movie where where Smith is talking to Keanu and telling him that Warner Brothers came down and told us that we have to make a sequel because they're gonna make it no matter what.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's also a
because oddly specific on that.
Yeah,
scene.
They mentioned Warner Brothers. It's also funny that the character that leads Neo back into the Matrix is Bugs Bunny.
Yeah,
because it's like the character's called Bugs and she's the White Rabbit from the first movie, but now it's Bugs Bunny, so it's like literally the rabbit that Neo follows is Bugs Bunny, leading him back into the Warner Brothers property.
Yes, pretty much.
It's like ridiculous. There's also a funny scene towards the beginning where they pan across Neo's office, and it shows like all the memorabilia from the first movies. And there's just like a hand prop with his middle finger sticking up, and it's
Yeah.
right in the center of the camera frame.
Yeah. It probably is. It probably
like-
was all.
And I think that's intentional. I think the boardroom thing is an FU to Warner Brothers. The middle finger is an FU to the audience, I think.
Probably.
Because this movie definitely comes off as one of those movies that hates its fan base.
Yeah, probably. Most likely.
So, yeah, all of that crap happens.
And I can't. What happened after that? It was like I can't really remember. Like,
Oh,
so they do have there's an action scene somewhere.
there's a lot of this. Like this whole like thing where Neo doesn't realize if he's in or out of the Matrix or whatever. This goes on
Yeah,
for like 40 minutes.
Yeah, because it takes a while to get to, because it's like, since it's such a long movie, it takes a while for him to actually get to that point.
Yeah.
They're like montages on top of montages, like six
Right.
times.
Yeah.
Not taking his pills anymore is montage.
Yeah, that's literally a montage.
I'm trying to think. Then there was a couple other ones because it showed a bunch, because it kept showing clips from the other movie, and they had like projector showing it.
Yeah. Well, what breaks the cycle is it's just like the first movie again. He gets a text, and it's from Morpheus.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that's right.
And it's telling him to like go to the window or whatever. And it's similar to the scene where he has to like navigate through the cubicles or whatever in the first movie.
Yeah.
And he meets up with Morpheus in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And he acts like really strange. Like he's imitating Lawrence Fishburne, and then he's just starts acting goofy. And that's
like
when
he's aware of that too. It's like really weird. It's like,
right.
I try to be like that other voice or whatever. It's like, yeah, because you're not Morpheus. You're some guy.
Yeah, exactly. And then Keanu's like, no.
Yeah.
It's like this really bad overacting scene.
Yeah, it's like really bad.
Really funny. And I can guarantee this movie's going to create a whole bunch of Keanu Reeves memes.
Yeah, probably.
If nobody else is going to do it, we will.
Yeah. Gus definitely has a lot of meme potential in this movie.
This is right up there with, well, that and all the interviews about this movie, because that gave us arousal metrics.
Yes, pretty much.
And other endless source of memes as well. So this is the Spider-Man 3 of Keanu's meme career.
Yes.
But anyway, yeah, that happens. And then that's the first thing. And this whole sequence plays out, ends up being a big gunfight. For some reason, the hallway explodes. And Keanu gets thrown into the next room. And there's a big shootout between Morpheus and the security guys. And then the CEO of Blizzard comes out, Smith, and he picks up a gun. And then for some reason, the gun triggers the memories in his head about Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, he just him yelling that.
Like, oh god,
it's like it doesn't work because it needs to be Hugo Weaving.
Yeah,
and since they intersperse that in so much, it's like it doesn't work because it needed to be Hugo Weaving. You have some random guy as Hugo Weaving.
And I said when we watched it, there's a fight scene later on that I said that there's a reason why they keep cutting to Hugo Weaving footage, and I really think it's to keep reminding the audience that this is Hugo Weaving.
Yeah, this is Mr. Smith.
Yeah.
Or Agent Smith, I guess.
Right. So that happens, but then Neo gets pulled back into the office with
because the therapist guy pulled him. He's like, how did you get here? You were just Doogie
Howser. Yeah, so Doogie Howser's his therapist, and he's like telling him that it was all a psychotic break or something.
Yeah, he's like, this is reality here. It's just because the mind can think of whatever. It's like it's fiction.
Yeah, because Neo's like a suicide survivor or something, supposedly.
Yeah.
Because he jumped off a building or tried to jump off a building.
Yeah.
But he actually flew, even though they don't show us that, because that's the moment that caused Bugs to break from the Matrix.
Yeah, because she's like a window cleaner.
Yeah, she's a window cleaner. And she saw Neo not fall, which we never actually see, though.
Yeah, it always cuts out at that point.
Because it implies that he would have fallen or something, but obviously not. Because if she just saw some guy fall off a building, that would not inspire her to break from the
Take
Matrix.
a red pill. Some random person gives
How
you.
she got the red pill, who knows?
Yeah, it's like, who did they actually plan that? I don't think they did.
Who's giving window cleaners the red pill?
It's like, oh, you're red pill now. Here's that.
So, yeah. But anyway, he survived, obviously. And I guess they rebooted the Matrix again after he flew off the building or something. I have no idea. Because for some reason, he thinks that's all in his head.
Yeah, because everyone else would see it and be like, oh, I want to break free now, too, because
right,
he did it.
Yeah, because all those people were watching from behind.
Yeah, it wasn't just her. It was like everyone.
There was like 100 people watching that.
Blizzard employees was seeing that.
Yeah, Blizzard employees saw that. That's why they woke up and made the big lawsuit against the company.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I don't remember how Neo actually ends up like taking the red pill though.
It took a while for that too, because basically he was like drunk on the roof, I think.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then Bug shows up.
Yeah.
For somewhere. So like she just like materialized behind him because he was about to like fall off a building or try to jump off.
Oh, that's
a bird flying. He was like, that looks easy.
I could do that. That's another thing too. They can just jack in like whenever in the Matrix, which is kind of stupid because the original movies you had to go to a phone booth to have a safe extraction point. Now they can just rip you out of the Matrix whenever they want.
I think they do say that. The one lady's like, oh, we can just leave whenever now.
Right. Which if you did that before, that would kill you.
Yeah.
Because that's how that guy that betrays them in the first movie, that's how he kills people. He just unplugs them like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And that's how they die. Like, whereas now they just do that just to get you out of the Matrix at any time. So it's like a hard reset whenever you want.
Yeah.
Which kind of takes the suspense out of it. But so anyway, they get back in. It ends up being this kind of cool fight scene on a train because they go through like he takes the red pill and then they take Neo through like a portal.
Yeah.
Which is all the mirrors.
There's all the mirrors and stuff.
Yeah, and they end up in like a Shinkansen in Tokyo.
Yeah.
And there's an all right fight scene. Actually, the first fight scene of this movie, really, and it's like an hour and 20 minutes into the movie. And
yeah, it takes a while. I don't know. It felt really slow, but I don't know, but it like wasn't.
Yeah, it's kind of a boring movie, but
yeah,
it keeps your attention if you're into like the memes and the meta crap that's all through it. Mostly, I think it kept our attention because we kept making jokes about Blizzard throughout the movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Warner Brothers. So, because Warner Brothers is just Warner Brothers in this universe, and then Deus Machina is basically Blizzard.
Yeah.
Or maybe even CD Projekt Red. I don't know, because
it might be.
Because we had a joke about that too, that like Keanu Reeves is the sole programmer of the Matrix, and it's actually footage of him creating Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
The secret is Keanu Reeves actually designed Cyberpunk himself, even though he's not a programmer and has no idea how to do it. That's why it has all those bugs in it.
Yeah. All them penises are coming out.
Yeah, it's because Keanu doesn't know how to program a game, but they made him do it anyway. So anyway, yeah, there's a fight scene on a train. This is when they introduce the Swarm, which is the new thing. But it's literally just zombies.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like zombies. That's like, it turns into a zombie movie at points.
Yeah. It's like everybody just turns into mindless zombies, but they're stupider than zombies because they can't like bite you and infect you or anything. They're just
how do they fight? Do they like, because there's a scene later on where the girl was like just like dying, but they were on a car and it wasn't like they were in the car.
Well, there was a couple people in the car and they were like, I think one of them was like choking her or something.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay, I didn't see that part.
That was literally it. Like they have like no attacks or anything. They just walk towards people and then get shot. So there's like a whole bunch of scenes in this movie of unarmed people getting shot in the head.
Yeah, so it could have been like a guy that was just really into autoerotic asphyxiation or something.
And then
so it was like a normal guy.
Yeah, and they shot him in the head.
That's why he knew how to strangle people, but
yep.
But the other guy could have been a random guy and just they wouldn't have known what to do. So it's like, but they were all like that. The one guy was like getting hurt, even though he wasn't actually getting hurt.
Yeah,
they were climbing on the vehicle
for some reason.
His life getting like dying.
His HP bar is connected to the whole vehicle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. But that's the new thing. There's 2 new things in this movie. So the first 3 movies were renowned, especially the first one was really well known for like changing the game, like constantly giving new, like we've never seen martial arts fights like that before.
Yeah,
in Western cinema, they had Yuen Wo Ping come over from China to do all the choreography and stuff. The guy did like Crouching Tiger and stuff. So something we had never seen in the West, and crazy special effects, the bullet time mechanic, all that stuff was brand new and never been seen in a film before, or at least not as well known as this.
Yeah.
This movie gives us the Swarm, which is literally just zombies. And Neo's sole power is he's got a big push now.
Yeah.
That's what he does. He pushes people.
He does force push.
He does a force push. It's big force push, and it locks people back. And that's it. That's literally all he does the entire movie. So anyway, they go through a mirror in the bathroom of the train.
Yeah.
And that's how he wakes up in the real world somehow.
Then what was the point in that?
I don't know. Because they went through a mirror to get to the train, and then they went through another mirror.
Yeah, because they made a big thing about they needed mirrors.
Yeah.
But they don't need mirrors because they just jack out no matter where. It's like wherever you're at, you
they just jack off wherever they want.
They jack off right in public, and they can get out. Don't get caught.
This is actually Don't Get Caught, the game. Yeah. In the movie.
I don't go. What was the point of the mirror? Like, what was the point of the mirror?
I have no idea. But they had this cram Neo through like a tiny mirror.
Yeah.
So that he could wake up in the real world, in his pod in the real world, in the fetus fields.
Yeah, the fetus fields,
as they call it. But he wakes up in his pod and he immediately gets abducted by a robot cicada.
Yeah.
Who is apparently a good guy.
Yeah.
This is another thing that happens in this movie. We have cute robots.
Yeah. Toys.
What all R-rated movies need is cute, kid-friendly robots to sell toys.
The one robot was like giving fist bumps and stuff.
Yeah, like exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah, Luminate.
Yeah, Luminate.
So they have cute robots to sell toys to kids that'll never get made because there's not a toy line for this movie.
Yeah.
So what's the point? But they gave us robots like Luminate, Sabebe.
Yes, Sabebe.
I think Sabebe is the robot cicada that
is that like Bebe's kids?
Yes, Bebe's kids, exactly. But that's the robot that saves Neo. He's flying around with a naked Neo across the city, and then he just drops him right on like a massage bed.
Yeah, it's like perfectly on this massage table. That was pretty weird.
And then Neo's just lying there.
It's like a naked
Keanu Reeves just face down on a massage table for like a solid 20 seconds. He's just laying there. He's not responding at all.
He's probably contemplating why he's in this movie.
I think that's the whole movie, is him contemplating why he did this. And Octocles, that was the other. Yeah,
Octocles is the other one.
Can't forget Octocles. And then there's another one later on. Was that Kujaku or something?
Yeah, Kujaku, which
looks like a orca mixed with a manta ray or something.
Yeah.
That talks to people but uses robot language that only Jada Pinkett Smith can understand for some reason.
Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack here. As the movie states, there's a whole lot of weird.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so Neo gets woken up in the real world, and then they take him to Io, which is like the new
Zion, yeah.
Yeah. And that's where they meet Jada Pinkett Smith, who's returned as Naomi. But now she's in old person makeup and she's doing like it's been 83 years.
Yeah. Pretty much. It's like there's less teeth, but then you look at her teeth, it's like
it's fine, yeah. That was all of her teeth. Yeah. She's been in a 60-year entanglement.
Yeah, pretty much. Why did they have the camouflage wall?
I don't know.
It didn't even look like the robots were even fighting them. Like they were like not even. They had no reason to fight. Like they had literally no reason to fight each other.
Well, I guess they're still hiding from the Sentinels, but
okay, yeah.
That was the thing that was funny too, because there's a holographic wall that humans think is a wall, but apparently robots also think it's a wall, although it's entirely just code. So you think a robot would be able to see that that's just a hologram.
All them sensors and can't get through a holographic wall, I guess.
Yeah. So they go to Io, where Naomi has spent the last 60 years growing strawberries.
Yeah, strawberries. Yeah, strawberries and blueberries.
They're real excited about the blueberries.
With their GMO products.
Oh yeah, that's another thing too. 60 years have passed, not just 20.
Yeah.
So I don't know why that's a thing, but
yeah, I don't know why they were talking about that at all.
I guess so they could just say that Morpheus died of old age or something. So they didn't have to bring him back.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Because there's
isn't there a scene where they're like, oh, he got like elected some grand guy or something?
Yeah, he was like the head of Zion or something.
Yeah, after the robot wars or whatever. It's like the robot wars.
Right.
Because there's energy. Something about energy.
There's a giant, terrible looking statue of Morpheus.
Yeah.
In the city. Yeah, the effects aren't great in this movie, and I looked this up. This movie has $190 million budget.
That's surprising.
Spider-Man No Way Home had a $200 million budget.
So it had almost the same amount.
Yeah, it's almost the same budget. I have not seen Spider-Man No Way Home because I live in Japan, where Sony has no way to get a film released.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man has yet to come home here.
Yes.
But you have seen it.
Yes.
Would you say that the special effects in this hold up to the special effects in Spider-Man?
No. No way. I didn't realize it was $190 budget. I thought it was more like
$190.
$190 budget, and they probably got that from like Aldi to stretch their budget even more.
Yeah, because like 80% of this movie, basic YouTuber could have put together, because it's just clips from the first movie.
Yeah, pretty much. They found a DVD of the movies or somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, Neo wakes up, and Neo's first thing is, I need to save Trinity.
Yeah.
And I'm going to risk the entirety of the human race to do so.
Yeah. Because he's like, we don't want to fight the robots anymore.
Yeah.
Because he talks about how the war is over.
Right.
So
now
they don't want to fight it, but he's like, oh, I need to save Trinity. They're like, this will make this war go on even more again.
Right.
So.
And it's like, what do you have that can help me save Trinity? And they're like, well, we have strawberries.
Yeah, we have strawberries and blueberries.
Yeah.
They're great.
So they have this big elaborate plan to rescue Trinity called the Flush and Grab.
Yeah, the Flush and Grab.
So they have to convince Trinity that the Matrix isn't real.
Yeah.
To get her to come out, which is what you do with the red pill. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But they go in initially to find Trinity, and they get ambushed by Blizzard CEO Agent Smith.
Yeah.
Who shows up with a bunch of dudes that he dragged in from Matrix Reloaded. So what are they, the Exiles or something?
Yeah, Exiles. I think they're called Exiles.
Yeah, which I guess is the term for like those weird guys from the second movie that were like ghosts and vampires and weird stuff. The Merovingian returns, who we kept joking is David Cage.
Yeah, David Cage.
From Quantic Dream.
Press X to Neo.
Yeah, press X to Neo, and he does the big push.
Yeah.
But yeah, he shows up and he's ridiculous, like way over the top French stereotype, like way worse than he was.
He even does the spit too.
Yeah, he literally does the "I spit on you."
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, it's like he does the real bad French accent. Well, occasionally he's like fading in and out of accents and then just rambles in French.
You didn't know what accent he wanted to be.
He doesn't actually do anything. He just stands up on the balcony screaming at them in like a pseudo French accent.
Yeah, pretty much. That was pretty much it.
And so that's why we said it was just David Cage.
Yeah.
And that's a scene that happens. Oh, that leads to the fight between Neo and Smith,
which is basically the one fight in the subway. Was it?
Yeah.
It looked very familiar. I was like, this looks like they just copy pasted the fight scene from one of the other movies.
Yeah, it's literally the subway fight scene, basically.
Yeah.
Interspersed with actual footage of the subway fight scene.
Yeah. To make sure you know that you're talking to Mr. Anderson or Mr. Smith.
Exactly.
Agent Smith.
They have to constantly remind the audience every 3 seconds that this is Agent Smith. Because he keeps calling Neo Tom for some reason.
Yeah, it's like, oh, hey, Tom.
And they pause the fight because Neo does a cool spinning kick off the wall, and he's like, nice hit. And Neo's like, thanks.
Yeah.
And then he pushes him into the wall and does that rapid fire punch thing that he literally did in the first movie.
Yeah.
And they're like, he's killing him, which is literally what they said in the first movie when that happened.
Yeah.
But then he doesn't kill him because Neo gets saved somehow.
Because they're frenemies at this point, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. They're frenemies. Yeah, because
how did he get out of there? Actually, I don't even remember.
I don't
like
remember.
Did he just like leave? Or he force pushed him. He pushed him and they left.
That's right. He did the big push.
He pushed him into the wall and then left, and then he just walked out. He just walked away.
And Neo says, "I still know kung fu."
Yeah.
Because remember when he said, "I know kung fu."
Yeah, because he obliterated Morpheus.
Oh yeah, that happened. We forgot about that. They do the training scene where they're in the dojo doing the training program or whatever, and Morpheus just beats the crap out of Neo until Neo gets angry, and then he does his big push and obliterates like the entire training protocol.
It literally kills Morpheus. He like kills him.
He vaporizes Morpheus, so that he like destroys that entire training program that they're in.
Yeah.
Because he's got a really big push.
Just say, oh, you'll never see Trinity again, and then he gets super pushed.
Yeah, he just does this super push because that's all he knows how to do. Because he can't.
It pushes him to the edge.
Yeah,
use it.
So then he goes to Trinity or Tiffany's motorcycle garage.
Yeah, they use like a door or something to get in there. Like, how did they were they fighting in the warehouse? Actually, I think they might have been.
Yeah, maybe.
Why didn't they hear that? I'm pretty sure they would have heard that. Them fighting in between this wall thing, because he basically walks into the room and he's like there.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's trying to convince Tiffany that she's actually Trinity.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden Doogie Howser shows up.
Yeah, it basically says, I have bullet time. It literally says, I have bullet time, and it's like freezing the world.
He freezes because he has bigger bullet time than Keanu does.
Was that an actual thing? Was that in the movie? Like, was that the other movie? I thought that was just like a film technique, but was it an actual thing?
I don't think they ever say bullet time in the original
because he even says, like, I got a new toy called Bullet Time.
Yeah.
It's like, it makes everything go really slow.
Right. Well, they say that in the boardroom meetings at the beginning, where they're like, what made the Matrix the Matrix? And the guy's like, bullet time.
Yeah.
Guns, lots of guns. And he just repeats
like, I hated the Matrix. The one guy was like, I hated the Matrix.
Yeah, that's Scottish dude.
Yeah.
He's just like, I don't care about them. He shoots like Trinity, but then just to mess with Neo, and then he catches the bullet. So I don't know what the point of that was, but basically they fail because Tiffany stays in the Matrix.
Yeah, because I think he was saying like they need them both or something for some reason.
Yeah, that's the thing, because like obviously if you've seen the original movies, Neo and Trinity both die at the end of the third movie. and like that was the point of the movie. And Neo's death basically caused a truce between the robots and humanity or whatever.
Yeah.
And in this, it turns out that Doogie Howser was there all along, and he was a program in the Matrix, and he convinced the machines to resurrect Neo and Trinity and then use them as the basis for the new Matrix. And that's why the new Matrix is all based on the first 3 movies, but everybody thinks they're games for some reason.
Yeah.
Because they're all built around Neo and Trinity's memories. Which is really stupid because he based all the power source for the Matrix off of Neo and Trinity. The 2 people that if they ever decided that they weren't in the Matrix, that the Matrix wasn't reality, which is their whole thing, would easily dismantle all of the Matrix.
Yeah.
Which
that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, it's not a surprise, but that's what happens. And they have to come up with, so then they try again to save Trinity, and they have to come up with this elaborate plan to save her. And they're like, this is like this impossible mission. They got to sneak into a pod and do all this crap. And then when they actually do it, it's super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Yeah. Literally, Morpheus just Terminators through the wall and he gets there.
Yeah.
They're there for some weird reason.
And then Bugs just rides one of the cute robots.
Yeah.
Kujaku or whatever. And then they have to plug her in for some reason because they need a human brain
that's compatible with
Trinity because she's Trinity. She's compatible somehow, even though she has no connection to either Neo or Trinity.
Yeah, I don't know if they were looking at like the genome or it was like it's like what, but I don't even get the point where that was like. No. What was the point? Because literally they just unplugged her and then put the other plug in and it was fine.
Yeah,
but they were still plugged in, both of them, for some weird reason.
Right. So like a bunch of junk happens where they try to
save. It's like a bunch of filler. It's like I don't remember half the stuff that was happening. I was like, I remember that part because it was kind of stupid. I was like, let me dissect this thing and then put you in this other thing.
Oh because yeah, I guess for some reason Sati from the 3rd movie, who is that girl in the train station.
Yeah.
She shows up in this, and for some reason she's they're like trying to cut the wire that's connected to Trinity in the real world.
Yeah, because they couldn't give her the red pill, I guess.
Yeah, they never give her the red pill.
I guess she had to like say it for herself or something. Like, I need to be, like, I don't want to be here, basically.
Yeah,
but they didn't take the pill. Like, what was the point of the pill then?
No, they didn't use the pill. Like, maybe that's why they had to plug in Bugs.
Yeah, that might have been it. Maybe they needed like a non drugged out brain.
Right. Yeah, something like that. They had to do the fusion technique with Trinity in order to break the Matrix. But anyway, they do, and then Trinity beats the Giga Chad shows up.
Yeah.
And tries to get her to come back, but then she's like, "No, I'm not Trinity. I'm not Tiffany. I fucking hate that name."
Yeah.
And then she like beats the crap out of Chad Stahelski and like murders her computer children.
Just like literally just kills them.
And then Doogie Howser's big plan is to activate the swarm.
Yeah, it's like activate the swarm, and then
now he
gets like, Mr. Anderson Agent Smith shows up.
Yeah, that's because he does bullet time again, and it freezes the reality, and then Agent Smith shows up because he's immune to bullet time, and then beats the crap out of Doogie Howser, and then
because he's like, since he's like kind of like an anti-hero at this point,
I guess. Yeah,
I feel like he helps him for
some reason.
It doesn't really benefit him, right? He just like helps him, like, yeah, I'll help you, and then he leaves.
Yeah, so then
I don't think you don't see him after that. I think after that fight scene, he's gone. Like, he just disappears.
Yeah, basically, he just pieces out. And then Neo and Trinity are trying to get somewhere on a motorcycle. I don't know where they're going, but they're going somewhere.
Yeah, because they could have just. That's the weird thing, is that the hacker man could have just unplugged them.
Yeah, basically. At any point, they could have unplugged them.
Yeah, because they're all there, and he's on the ship. He gets to be like, "Oh, I'm gonna plug everyone that's here."
Yeah. But instead, we get a chase scene on a motorcycle where the zombies are just mindlessly running through the street, attacking all the characters, but easily killed because they have no weapons, they have no attacks.
Yeah,
You just run at you and you shoot them in the face, and that's basically it. Until Doogie Howser activates the happening program.
yeah, happening program.
All these guys start jumping out the window of buildings and face planting onto the pavement.
Marky Mark does that singing part in the happening. What's that part? He's like, I'm not crazy, or what are you talking about, lady? He's
yeah.
Singing to that lady, and it's like really weird.
Well, it happens in this movie too, because there's whole scenes where Keanu's like, am I crazy?
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, so it starts raining men.
Yeah, pretty much. I think it was the exact same scene from the happening too.
Yeah, they all fall out the window and they're just like face planting on the pavement.
Yeah.
And then Keanu's just doing his big push the whole time while Trinity's riding the motorcycle. They end up on the rooftop somehow. There's helicopters attacking them. And then Keanu does the cool thing that's in the trailer where he like grabs a missile and throws it at another helicopter, which is probably the coolest scene in the movie, and it's in the trailer.
Yeah.
And then they jump off the building. Neo still doesn't know how to fly, but then they stop in the middle of the air because Trinity now can fly.
Yeah.
And she catches Neo, and then they just take off.
I think this is where like Trinity is holding Neo up in the air.
Yeah.
But they unplug her first. So that means Neo is falling to his death.
Yeah, exactly.
3 seconds. Then they unplug him.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have unplugged him first because he doesn't know how to fly.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. And there's a lot of people complaining about this. The movie's woke or whatever because it made Trinity the one. I don't have a problem with that, and I don't think this movie's woke. It's
like, where did they get woke for that?
Because they're saying that they depowered Neo and they gave it all to Trinity because they made the woman powerful, but that's not what it is. It's both of them.
Yeah, that's why they've established that because he needed both of them.
Yeah,
to power this Matrix world.
And that's literally what caused him to realize he was the one in the first movie, was Trinity kissing him in the real world, and then that's what caused him to come back. So that it always was that. It was the Force diode.
Yes. Pretty much.
It was Neo and Trinity were the original Force diode.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't have a problem with Trinity flying or whatever.
Yeah, that's like being that like this movie is not woke. Is there anything? This is like not a woke movie.
I mean, it's woke in the traditional sense of like waking up to like whatever.
Waking up to a nightmare.
To a nightmare, yeah. It's woke in the sense that it is the creators are self-aware and they're clearly taking jabs at Warner Brothers, which I'm shocked they allowed this movie to get made.
Yeah. Pretty much
like that kind of thing, but not in the social justice.
Yeah, that was definitely. I don't see where they come from that one.
Not any more woke than all the Matrix was.
Yeah,
they all were woke. If you're going by that logic, so like it was made by two. The original trilogy was made by two brothers who ended up transitioning into sisters. Like, why'd you not think this was woke?
Yeah,
but whatever. That's neither here nor there, but that's a complaint that some people have had about this movie, and I don't agree with it.
No, that was a very weak complaint.
That's the least of this movie's problems is that Trinity can fly. And then that's basically it, because they just fly into Doogie Howser's office and pretty much are like, okay, we're changing the Matrix.
Yeah, it's like I can change it to rainbow skies.
Yeah.
But they don't do that. They just fly away.
No, they just fly away, and they both fly away here.
Yeah.
So Neo can fly.
Actually, why did they? What was the point of that scene other than like beating up Doogie Howser?
That was it, basically.
Like, was there a reason for?
Well, the reason was that they had to set up the final scene, which was the two of them just flying off to punk rock music.
Yeah, it was like
Just
very 90s. It's
literally
like,
the yeah,
that one thing
exactly.
they always do at the end.
That was that's how the original movie ended.
Yeah.
It was literally ended with Neo flying into the camera and like punk rock music playing. That was literally how the first movie ended. And that's how this ends, unless you stay through to the final credit scene when we get Jude again.
Yeah.
Talking about how the movies are dead, games are dead, books are dead, which is another obviously self-aware thing where the director's just very bitter and is like physical, like media as a whole is just dead. And then they're like, the new Matrix needs to be built around cat videos. And then they say that it's the Catrix. And that's the last word that we ever hear in the Matrix saga.
Yes, Catrix.
Because I doubt this is getting a sequel because this movie tanked in the theaters.
Yeah, this was not a good movie.
Yeah, it made like 15 million opening weekend or something.
Yeah.
On a $190 million budget. So Warner Brothers is losing like 100 million at least from this movie.
Yeah.
And it's all their fault. And the movie tells them that it's Warner Brothers' fault repeatedly.
Yeah.
Like, you made us make this crappy movie. So this is your fault. So,
it's almost like when the Predator was out. Like the new Predator movie. It kind of felt like that, where the person obviously didn't want to make a new one, but they wanted him to make it.
Yeah.
And he just like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'll just do the worst job possible.
Right. Yeah. The Predator is another example of that, where they got Shane Black to make the film. And I think he legitimately wanted to do it, but then studio meddling kept happening to the point that he was just like, fuck it, I'm just going to make the worst movie possible.
Yeah.
And then that's what he did. And I actually enjoyed this more than I enjoyed the Predator, but I haven't seen the Predator since it came out.
Yeah.
So this I enjoyed because we watched it on HBO Max and we were able to like do running commentary throughout it. I think if I had to sit there and actually watch this in the theater, I would enjoy it a lot less.
Yeah, it was not a good, like a very good movie. I mean, it was not like the worst movie in the world.
No,
but
it's
it
not
good.
It's not the worst movie ever. Like, it's, some people are saying this is the worst film ever. And no, it's not. But it's not good. And like they say, there's a line in the movie, they say, how bad is it or something, they say it's bad like all the bad.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's a good example, a good way to describe this movie. It's just all the bad.
Yes.
And there's actually also another thing where they talk about the Matrix, is it a tragedy or a farce? And I think that is a good tagline for the movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
But if you're gonna rate this movie out of 10, what would you give it?
I'd probably give it like a 4 or something.
Yeah, that's fair. I was thinking like a 4, or maybe a 5.
Yeah,
it's
like, it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't the worst movie in the world. Like, it's watchable.
Yeah, it's watchable,
but it's not like it's gonna be anything good.
No. And despite all the memes and the meta stuff, it's a pretty boring movie.
Yeah, it is pretty boring,
which is like the worst thing a movie can be.
Yeah, especially how it's pretty slow. Like, I don't know, I don't know if it was actually slow, but it felt slow. I don't know.
Yeah. What is a long, well, I don't want to say it's like an average movie length these days, but it's like 2 hours and 40 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Which used to be considered very long.
Yeah, now it's like, oh, that's just a normal movie.
Yeah, now it's a normal movie. Thanks, Peter Jackson.
Yeah, pretty much.
Normalizing 3.5 hour movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not good. It's the worst of the Matrix films.
Yeah, by far.
By far. Like, I know a lot of people don't like 3, and some people don't like 2, but I watched all of the Matrix movies like a month ago, and I actually don't think I'd ever seen the third one all the way through until then, and it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It suffers from being really boring too, though. I mean, it's not good either. It's like maybe a 6.
Yeah.
But this is like a or maybe that's a 5 or a 6. This is maybe a 4 or 5. It's like 4.5. But that one, the movie, the story is a continuation of the other two. It's not a rehash. So it's got that going for it. It does have one gigantic problem though, and that's where it gets into the boring territory. Neo spends like 2 hours in a train station not doing anything.
Yeah.
In Matrix Revolutions. This, at least he's doing something, but not much. He's mostly just walking around going, what?
Yeah, what?
Huh?
We need to save Trinity.
Yeah.
Pretty much all his lines.
Pretty much that's all he says. But yeah, it's not a great movie. If you're gonna watch this, I would recommend watching it on HBO Max.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I don't know if I want to pay. Like, if you're having an HBO Max subscription, it's like I would not be wanting to. Probably wouldn't want to watch that in the movie theater. That is for sure.
No, I mean, like I said, I'm rating it like a 5. But I think if I had to watch this on my own without distractions or without commentary going, like wasn't able to make all the Blizzard jokes and all that stuff while we're watching the movie, this would be much lower. This would be like a 3.
I do agree with that. So
yeah, if you have to sit there in the theater for 2 hours and 45 minutes in silence watching this, that's, I think it would be like a 4 or a 3 or something.
At least a good thing in a theater, no one could see you crying and while watching this in the dark.
In the theater, no one can see you cry.
Yeah.